It's a very damp Tuesday night after a lot of light rain and drizzle that came throughout the day. We also have some fog developing now. Some of that will be pretty dense, so expect that for your Wednesday morning, followed by clouds the rest of the day. And then finally, some changes to the forecast starting Wednesday night. All those details coming up.
Now at 10, Kwanzaa begins today. We tell you about the holiday and how people in the CSRA are celebrating it. Also ahead, upgraded charges for the suspect in the case of a missing Aiken County mom, how the family is reacting. And good news for one local restaurant, why the owners say they will remain open. Your news at 10 starts now.
Live from Television Park, this is WJBF, News Channel 6 at 10 on MeTV.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Hannah Latier. Thank you so much for joining us. We begin tonight with a story out of North Augusta, where the Aiken County Coroner's Office is investigating the death of a 1-month-old child. Investigators say Charlotte Fowler was pronounced dead on October 15th at her home located on Rita Court. The preliminary investigation has determined Charlotte's death to be a homicide. The final cause of her death is still under investigation. And the Aiken County Sheriff's Office says 21-year-old Jordan Fowler has been charged with unlawful neglect of a child. An affidavit states that Fowler caused injuries to the child by squeezing her and shaking her. No word yet on if her charges will be upgraded. Fowler remains in the Aiken County Detention Center. The case of the missing mom in Aiken County is now being investigated as a homicide. Investigators say the ex-boyfriend of Jamila Smith, 34-year-old Daniel Harmon, is being charged with murder. They believe that Harmon hit Smith with a black Dodge Charger that he rented. An affidavit reveals Smith could be heard stating Harmon hit her on a 911 call the day she was last heard from. Authorities say he never took her to the hospital, and blood was found in the trunk of the car. Harmon was arrested a few days later after Smith disappeared. Kimberly Kite with Broken Link Foundation says this is heart-wrenching for Smith's family.
As you would expect, there's a little bit of confusion. How did we get to this, where we are? There's some anger. There's a lot of hurt. There's a lot of heartache. Like I said, this is a very, very loving, very strong family that have pulled together. They are adamant about Jamila being found, and they want Jamila home, and that's going to be the fight at this point, is bringing her home.
Harmon's bond has been denied, and he remains in the Aiken County Jail. Smith's body hasn't been found yet. It is time now for our first look at our weather. Here's meteorologist Jenna Petracci. Jenna, can we expect any more of that rain for tonight?
Well, Hannah, we're starting to see less and less drizzle now as we take a look at Live Viper 6. Definitely not much rain happening, and any rain that is going on is very, very light in nature. You can see that it looks blue on our radar, and that does not represent snow. Instead, that represents how light the rain really is. So you can say this isn't even light rain. It's even lighter than that. It's drizzle, so barely anything happening now. But any of that drizzle is that we are seeing is up in our northeastern counties, Edgefield and Saluda, seeing some of that blue. Also down around the metro in Richmond and Columbia County, we're seeing some of that activity as well. Other than that, it's really just a foggy night now. The rainfall totals over the last 2 days showing over 4 inches in parts of the upstate, around 1.5 inches across the Midlands, but for the CSRA, really not too impressive with those rainfall totals. Saluda and Aiken County were our highest amounts there, around 3/4 of an inch to 1.5 inches. But because we had so much drizzle and so much low-level moisture, we are seeing this dense fog develop already at the 10 o'clock hour. So here's a live look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam over in Aiken. Visibility getting very, very poor, down to 0 miles in Barnwell, where there was a lot of drizzle today. One 1 mile in Augusta and Aiken and Waynesboro as well. So anywhere you're seeing this gray color here, that's where the dense fog is. Today's high temperature was 66 degrees with 0.41 inches of rain recorded at Augusta Busch Field. The clouds and the fog are sticking around as we go into the nighttime hours. Temperatures are in the low to mid 60s. Definitely not too cold tonight. Also feeling pretty muggy outside with the dew points in the upper 50s to low 60s. Definitely some drier air starting to move in to those northern counties as this trough of low pressure moves through. Behind it, though, we do still have a decent amount of cloud cover. So for tomorrow, clouds and fog with temperatures in the mid 50s. Pretty much all of your Wednesday going to be cloudy. The drizzle is starting to end, though. Wednesday will be dry, and then changes are coming soon. Starting on Wednesday night, we'll really feel a drop in temperatures. So all those details are coming up. Back to you, Hannah.
All right, Jenna, thank you. Today starts the celebration of Kwanzaa, a tradition observed by many African Americans. Nikita Dennis is live in the Satellite News Center to tell us what the celebration means. Nikita?
Yeah, it's a 7-day celebration where people come together to commemorate African history and acknowledging many principles in the African American culture.
It was founded out of a dark period. There was the Watts riots in California, and all this is during that civil rights period when a lot of unrest. And in the midst of the riots, which was a dark period, Dr. Karengo came up with the idea to do something positive.
It's been a tradition in the African American community for more than 50 years. A day after Christmas, another holiday begins, celebrating heritage, unity, and connection.
Concerning Kwanzaa, there are three things that Kwanzaa is. It's inspirational, it's informational, and it's intentional.
So this is a woven African toy.
Kwanzaa became more popular in the late 1980s and 90s with a different prop that people use to signify its meaning.
The red, black, and green has significance. It's the African liberation colors, Pan-African, that Marcus Garvey gave us. It's a unity symbol. So black is for the African Americans, the African people. Red is for the blood connections. Green is for the land.
Historians and activists say being knowledgeable about the celebration is important and knowing as much information as possible, especially when it comes to religion.
Kwanzaa is not a religion. It's an observation, a time of appreciation.
See, the Kwanzaa principles you can use during Christmas time. You know, if you're still thinking in terms of unity and collective works and collective purpose, putting resources together to do a big program.
They also say people across the CSRA have celebrated over the years with festivals and programs to keep people informed. Live in the Satellite News Center, Nikita Dennis, WJBF, Channel 6.
Thank you so much, Nikita. A popular family restaurant that has been in Augusta for years has announced that they will be staying open after originally sharing that they would be closing. Graham Lee has more details.
The restaurant has been serving customers for almost 60 years, but the public was shocked to hear the original news.
Well, it was very disappointing because this is just a staple here in Augusta, good country food.
On November 11th, the restaurant told the public in a Facebook post that they would be closing its doors at the end of the year. Dee Garland has been the owner for the last 13 years, and she says they made this call because she's ready for the next chapter.
I'm ready to retire. I have some medical problems I need to get taken care of. I got like 3 surgeries that I need to get done, but I work all the time, so I don't have time to do them.
But after an agreement between owners, the restaurant was granted a new lease that will keep their doors open for at least the next 5 years. Longtime server Diana Davis will take over as new manager along with her husband, Vernon.
You know, it's part of the community. And plus, you know, you got people here that depends on this place for their livelihood. You got a lot of people coming here and they sit down. And my wife comes in, she tells me some stories about some people where their spouse have passed away and they want to sit in a certain spot and stuff like that. So that means a lot to her and also to people that come in here. So
Garland says the plan is to keep doing what they've been doing for nearly 6 decades.
It's just going to continue exactly like it is. You can hear the background noise, how busy Ruth stays.
Yay! So glad there will be a whole community here will be glad that it's staying open. Yes, so thank you to the new owners.
Still ahead, Jenna has a full look at your forecast, plus the court clerk who oversaw the Murdaugh trial being accused of plagiarism. That story when we come back.
Do you suffer?
Sponsored by Science Co., Piedmont Augusta, Security Federal Bank, and News Channel 6. Now, your most accurate forecast with WJBF Live Viper 6.
Good Tuesday evening. It's been a very damp rain. We've been watching this light rainfall come down along with a lot of drizzle since early this morning, and really even on Christmas Day it was very wet setup as well. So nothing changing just yet. In fact, Edgefield and Saluda County have been dealing with this all day, finally breaking apart just a little bit. When we see this blue color here, you may think that looks like snow, but it's definitely not. It is way too warm. Instead, as we see the blue, that shows how light this rain really is. Green is what we typically see. That means it's light rain, and I can actually hear it coming down here at the station on our roof, right around here where we're under that pocket of green. But anywhere it's blue, not even rain. That's just some drizzle. So overall, a lot of low-level moisture around, and you can see how soaked it is outside despite the fact we haven't had any flooding issues since this has been such a light rain. Very steady, though, over the last couple of days, so it is starting to amount to a good bit. Here's a look at our Terry Lambert Hyundai Skyview cam at Washington Road. A foggy night, visibility down to 1 mile here in town. 63 is our temperature with the overcast skies. So you can see the dense fog starting to build here. Our northern counties where there was less rain, not dealing with that, but anywhere where we had a significant amount of rain come down, that's where we'll see that dense fog through our Wednesday morning. Temperature-wise, we're in the upper 50s to mid-60s. Definitely a warm December night. We have a trough of low pressure that's right across our area. That's why we're still seeing some of that light rain and drizzle. And we also have some clouds behind the system. So for our Wednesday, still a pretty cloudy day. But overall, high pressure will be building back in, which will eventually bring some changes to the forecast. In the meantime, through 6 to 9 a.m. tomorrow, areas of dense fog. Temperatures on the warmer side, upper 50s to low 60s. Only climbing into the mid-60s throughout the afternoon with no chance of rain for Wednesday. Same thing all the way through New Year's Eve. Then as we look at the temperatures with the dry air, also comes the cool down. So 50s tonight, 40s Thursday, 30s on Friday, and then we'll be below average just in time for New Year's Eve weekend. So if you're making any outdoor plans, definitely bring a heavy jacket because those temperatures will be rather cold. But in the afternoon with all that sunshine, will feel pretty nice. But keep in mind, for the first few days of January, we will be feeling like winter once again with below average temperatures likely across the CSRA. Here's our futurecast tonight. Low pressure moving off towards the northeast. Still those lingering clouds we can see, but all that rain should be staying to our south. We'll have a couple troughs come through over the next couple of days, but overall by Thursday afternoon, we should be pretty sunny. And then on Friday, a beautiful sunny day with no rain. Here's that visibility tracker, though. Very, very poor visibility throughout the entire CSRA, likely as we go into the overnight hours. This is 4 a.m. tomorrow morning. Visibility pretty much at 0 miles. Starting to improve by the 7 a.m. and then by 9 a.m. looking much better. Our lows tonight, though, will be in the mid-50s for the most part. Highs tomorrow will be in the mid to upper 60s. In your 10-day forecast, showing the clouds on Wednesday becoming partly cloudy on Thursday. Back to sunshine on Friday. And a big cool down, a breezy day on Friday as well, with the temperatures only topping off in the 50s. Lows in the 30s over the weekend, staying sunny and little to no rain next week. So definitely the cool air moving back in. It will certainly feel like January by the time it gets here.
Well, I would expect nothing less for this area,
Yep,
so
exactly.
you never know what you're going to get.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Jenna. The South Carolina court clerk who oversaw the trial of convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh is at the center of a jury tampering claim and now being accused of plagiarism by the co-author of her book. The accusations state Colleton County Court of Clerk Rebecca Hill lifted passages in the beginning of her book titled Behind the Doors of Justice, The Murdoch Murders from a draft of a BBC News article. Neil Gordon, the co-author of the book, released a statement today saying he was, quote, blindsided by her actions. The book was originally published in July, but officials say further publication of it has now been stopped. No hearing date has been set over the jury tampering allegations against Hill. Still ahead, respiratory illnesses are flaring up across the country. What you need to know to stay healthy and more when coverage you can count on continues.
In journalism service.
Flu and COVID-19 ER visits and hospitalizations are rising across the country as the CDC reports very high amounts of respiratory illnesses across 9 states. Melissa Adon has more.
While this time of year is known for holiday gatherings, it's also peak time for spreading viruses. More than a dozen states are seeing high or very high levels of respiratory illnesses per CDC data, with the southeast and south central areas of the country currently reporting the highest level of activity, with a 200% increase in the flu, 60% increase in RSV cases, and more than 50% increased rate of COVID-19 spreading. ABC's Dr. Darian Sutton explains the current rising numbers.
With a couple of reasons why. It's colder, we move closer, that increases transmission. There's evidence that COVID reduces our immune response, which can make us more susceptible to infection.
There's also a new COVID-19 variant spreading, a subvariant of the Omicron listed as a variant of interest. CDC's data shows that COVID rates are up for the 6th straight week. This while vaccination rates lag. Only 18.5% of people have gotten an update in their COVID vaccine.
You want to make sure that you have that protection, that high quality mask, washing your hands, making sure you're updated on your vaccines, and always preparing for the highest risk person in the room.
The doctors also recommend RSV vaccines for babies under 8 months, pregnant women, and adults who are 60 years or older.
While the CDC is tracking growing flu hospitalizations, data shows the number of new admissions still remains low. So that's good news. But all this an important reminder to practice preventive measures, especially this time of the year. Melissa Adon, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Coming up, we'll recap Week 16 in the NFL and the Hawks may be missing a key player for tonight's game against the Bulls. Kira Goldstein has sports next.
WJBF sports coverage you can count on.
Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back. A lot happened while we were gone, particularly in the NFL, so let's jump into a recap of Week 16. Starting with the Falcons, they hosted the Colts, and the big storyline was a swap at quarterback with Taylor Heineke getting the start over Desmond Ridder. First quarter, 1st and 10 for Atlanta. Bijan Robinson takes it up the left for 32 yards, and the Falcons keep marching. Then on the next play, Taylor Heineke looking for a man. He has Kyle Pitts downfield. Touchdown. Falcons tie the game at 7. Then in the third, Falcons leading 13-7, 1st and 10. Tyler Algier takes the toss down the right sideline, and he is gone. Touchdown Falcons. That makes it 20-7. But offense wasn't the only thing working for Atlanta. 8 minutes to play. Falcons lead by 16. Colts with the ball on 3rd and 10. Gardner Minshew launches downfield, and it's intercepted by Jesse Bates III. That's his 6th interception of the season, and the Falcons remember the Titans. They would go on to get the win 29-10 with quarterback Taylor Heineke noting how pleased he was with the win and how polished his team looked throughout the game.
Pretty clean game. That's what we're trying to do. Obviously, the story of the season so far has been, turnovers and self-inflicted wounds, and that was kind of our message this week. Hey, let's not beat ourselves. Let's make them go beat us. So I thought we played a really clean game. Try to get the ball in my hands quick, let those playmakers do their thing. Obviously, you want to kind of punch it in a little bit more when you get down there, but a win's a win, so we're happy with it.
Falcons' next game will be on New Year's Eve as they visit the Chicago Bears. Meanwhile, in Carolina, the Panthers hosted the Packers as they looked for their 3rd win of the season. Under 11 minutes left in the second quarter, Panthers trailing 13-3. 1st and 10 on the reverse. Amir Smith-Marset with room out to the right. He gets in for the touchdown, and the Panthers cut the deficit to 3. Then under 8 minutes to go in the game, Panthers trailing 30-16 on 1st and 10. Young finds DJ Chark Jr. over the middle for the touchdown. Panthers miss the PAT. They trail 30-22, but Carolina fans loving it. Later on, with just over 4 minutes left in the game, Panthers 1st and goal at the 10. Young rolls right and on the run. He hits DJ Chark again in the end zone for the touchdown. Look at that. Chark able to get both feet down in bounds. They'll go for 2 and convert. So this game is tied at 30, but with 22 seconds left, the Packers attempt a 32-yard field goal. The kick is good, and that would do it as Green Bay escapes with the win 33-30, but overall a great game by Carolina. Over in the NBA, we talked last week about Trae Young looking to make history with his 6th straight game with 30 points and 10 assists. Well, before tonight's game, there were some questions about Young's shoulder sprain and whether or not he would be able to play, but those all got answered at 8 p.m. this evening when Young stepped out onto the floor to start the game. Now, Young only scored 2 points in the first quarter, but since then he's really found his groove, and with a little less than 1 minute left to play, the Hawks are trailing 113-110. Young has 20 points and 13 assists, so we'll see if tonight can be another 30-10 night. It's not looking great, but regardless, still a double-double night for Young. I will have all of those highlights for you later on tonight. That'll be on News Channel 6 at 11, and that does it for sports.
Inside. Hi, I'm Mary Morrison with this week's community calendar. Make plans now to see the mystery of the Christmas star. It'll be shown on various dates in December at USC Aiken's DuPont Planetarium. Journey back more than 2,000 years to find a scientific explanation for the star that the wise men followed to Bethlehem. All shows last about an hour and include a live Sky Tonight portion. To find out more, just search DuPont Planetarium at uscaiken.edu.
And last but not least, a look at how people across the country are celebrating Kwanzaa.
Today, the Malcolm X College is continuing a 17-year-old tradition. Their week-long celebration begins with a festival.
The festival includes live performances and a market offering African arts and products. Roughly 2.5% of Americans observe Kwanzaa. The holiday was created in 1966 and is based on traditions from African harvest festivals.
We come together for 7 days to celebrate with each other with music, dance, food, and love. We discuss the problems in our community and how we can change it. We discuss our strengths and how we can maintain our strengths.
Well, I've definitely learned a lot about Kwanzaa tonight, especially with Nikita's story earlier.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I honestly didn't know that much about Kwanzaa before, but learned a lot today.
Absolutely.
It's really cool to see how people celebrate. Happy Kwanzaa to everyone who celebrates.
Exactly.
So many fun holidays around this time of the year. Yeah. Well, we also have some much warmer than normal weather for this time of the year. We've had the 60s and even 70s over the last couple of days. Tomorrow will be another pretty warm December day, high of 67, some fog in the morning along with a low of 56. The drizzle is still going on, but will be drying out by tomorrow, then becoming partly cloudy on Thursday as the temperatures begin to cool down. Sunny and in the 50s on Friday, and then our low temperatures will go all the way down into the 30s over New Year's Eve weekend. 30 degrees going into the new year. All of January looking cooler than normal, highs in the 50s with little to no rain other than some isolated showers. Tuesday and Thursday and Friday of next week. If you're going out to celebrate, bring a jacket. Man, it's going to be so cold.
And a Viper 6 umbrella if it's still
a Viper 6
raining.
umbrella. There you go.
Well, the news continues at the top of the hour on WJBF News Channel 6 at 11.
But Hogan's Heroes is next here on MeTV.
Thanks.